waku, uhoro wa umuthi. Welcome back to Kikuyu Lessons with Wanjiro. My name is Wanjiro. Today I want to teach you kitchen vocabulary, as you have seen in the topic of this video, and it will be as simple as knowing how to say kitchen activities, what we do, especially when we are preparing foods. Remember to subscribe to this channel and share this video with your friend who is looking for a Kikuyu language tutor. And just to remind you, I have a PayPal account, so I'll put my email in the description bar. So, shall we start? So, when we are cooking, we wash our food. To wash, we have learned this word before, is wothabia. So whatever we'll be washing or whatever we'll be cleaning, it will be wothabia. So if I was giving you instruction to wash tomatoes, I will say thabia nyanya, because you call tomatoes nyanya. Thabia nyanya isio, wash those tomatoes. Thabia nyanya isio. Thabia nyanya isio. To rinse is wokamura. Wokamura. So in any case you want to say rinse something, whether it's clothes, whether it's the utensils, anything that you will be rinsing is wokamura. So if I was instructing you to rinse the tomatoes that we just washed, I will say kamura nyanya isio. Kamura nyanya isio. Number 3, we have to peel. To peel is koa. Koa. So if I wanted to tell you, peel the potatoes. Potatoes are waru, a very common food in Kikuyu or in the Kikuyu community. Waru. So I'll say Wajiro wa waru. Wa waru. Wa waru. Number 4, we have to cut, to chop, and to dice. This will be the same thing in Kikuyu. To cut is gotinia. Gotinia. There is gotinagia. Gotinagia. So you can say gotinia or gotinagia. If now we wanted to cut or to dice the potatoes that we just peeled, if I was to instruct you to do that, I will say tinia waru or tinagia waru. Tinagia waru. Tinagia waru. And by the way, because we learned the present continuous tenses, or the tenses that show what I am doing right now, if it's you who is doing it, you just have to add dera. Dera, I am. For example, I am cutting or I am dicing potatoes. I will say dera tinagia waru. Dera tinagia waru. So there is cutting things like potatoes, but if we were cutting cabbages or sukuma wiki, we say gokera. Gokera. Gokera nyeni. Gokera nyeni, that is to cut the greens. So if I was to instruct you to do it, I'll say kera dokoma isio. Kera dokoma isio, or kera boga eo. Kera boga eo. To grate is gokira. Gokira. So there is kera and kira. Gokira is to grate. So what do we usually grate? Carrots and cheese. But in Kikuyu we don't have cheese, so we always grate carrots, or we usually grate carrots. So if I was to instruct you to grate carrots, I will say kira karati. Kira karati. To mix or to combine is gotukania. Gotukania. So what are we mixing? If I was to say mix the beans and maize, I will say tukania bebe na boso. Tukania bebe na boso. Tukania bebe na boso. To star is kuruga, kuruga, kuruga. So if I was to instruct you to stir the food, I will say uruga irio, uruga irio, uruga irio siaku. Stir your food. Uruga irio siaku. To whisk or to beat is kohora, kohora. So kohora means to beat. So either way, to whisk is kind of to beat. So if I was to tell you to beat the eggs or to whisk the eggs, I will say hora matube. Whisk those eggs. Hora matube masio. Hora matube masio. To mash is gokima, gokima. That is why we have this food that is called mokimo, which is mashed. So we say gokima is to mash. So if I wanted to tell you mash your potatoes, I will say kima waru waku. Kima waru waku. And also ugali, which is called gima, is actually from that word wokima, because we are always mashing the flour and the water. So wokima, gima, kima, gima. To boil is woderokia, woderokia, or wosamura, wosamura. So if I was to instruct you to boil milk, I will say samura iriya, samura iriya, or derokia iriya, derokia iriya. To fry is gokaraga, gokaraga. So if I wanted to say fry the onions, I'll say karaga yetoguru, karaga yetoguru, karaga yetoguru. To knead and to roll when you're making chapatis or flatbread, we'll say wokada, wokada. Kada motu. Knead the flour. Kada motu. To knead is wokada. To roast is kohehia, kohehia, kohehia. So if I was to say roast the maize, I'll say hehia bebe, hehia bebe, hehia bebe, hehia nyama. Roast the meat. To heat something, maybe in the microwave or even on fire, to heat or to warm up is going to be kohiohia, kohiohia. If I was to instruct you to warm up my food, I'll say hiohia irio siakwa, hiohia irio siakwa, hiohia irio siakwa. Or if I wanted to say warm that food for me, I can say hioheria irio, hioheria irio. Are you able to say hioheria? Hioheria irio. To cool off something is kohoria, kohoria. Same thing as turning off the heat, we're going to say kohoria. So if I was to tell you to cool off my water, maybe my water is too hot, I'll say horia mai. Cool off the water. Horia mai, horia mai. By doing what? You mix it with cold water, right? Horia mai. To drain water from something is wokera, wokera. And we can say wokera my, gukera, my, to drain water. So if I was to instruct you to drain water, I'll say kera, my, kera, my. To serve food is koihora, 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 irio, koihora, irio. So if I was to say serve the food to the guests, I will tell you ihorera ageni irio, ihorera ageni irio, ihorera ageni irio. So there are also two terms that we use to literally put food on the fire. We say kohagera irio, kohagera irio, kohagera irio. To remove the food from the fire, we say gutengura, gutengura, tengura irio, tengura irio means remove food from the fire. And by the way, to bake will just be koruga. We don't have the word for baking, we just say koruga. You just specify what you are cooking. So if I was to say baking a cake, I'll say koruga keki. Koruga also means cooking generally. So koruga irio, to cook food. Koruga keki, to bake a cake. I really hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next lesson. Please don't forget to share. Tigorega.